Alright boys, welcome back to another YouTube video. Today's going to be a bit of a different one, so I thought I'd just, pull up the camera. Basically, these are my top 5 things that I've learned in my first ever bodybuilding prep. I'm currently 4.5 weeks out now from my first ever bodybuilding show. Getting quite diced, which is exciting. I've learned a lot. Obviously, usually my videos are vlogs, don't worry, I'm going to be keeping the vlogs. Because I think it'll be good, obviously, to look back on this whole prep and try and, document it as much as I can. So yeah, these are basically the top 5 things that I've learned whilst being on my first ever bodybuilding prep. And hopefully you boys can take something from this. If you're doing a prep now, or you're thinking about doing a prep or whatever, and you're, teen, similar age to me. So yeah. Alright, so number 1 is gonna be how much your mood and energy affects you. So I'm currently doing a 15-week prep, right? So for the first 6 weeks, it doesn't feel like you're dieting, it feels like an absolute doddle, it's easy, right? But then you get to I don't know, the 8 weeks out mark, and it hits you like a rock. You've entered the trenches, as to speak. And yeah, your mood and your energy is a big thing that takes a hit. And obviously now I've gotten used to it. But it's just one thing to take into consideration, how you are when you talk to other people. Your mood isn't going to be the best, and you've got to try and make a conscious effort to kind of not come across as a dickhead. You know what I mean? Don't be in a mood all the time. And I remember when I first, hit that wall, I was in a mood with my parents, I was in a mood with my friends. I was just in a mood 24/7. Basically, it just led me to kind of disliking the process for some of it. So it's definitely recommended to obviously take time for relationships, friends, family. But also understand in your head, you're not going to be feeling the best. If you are in a mood, if you are feeling shit, you are doing it right, you are lean. Obviously there's positives and negatives to it, but just make sure you're making time for friends and family, because they're going to be the ones that are there for you and have been there for you. So don't neglect that. Alright, so tip number 2 is going to be expecting it won't be easy, because, realistically it's not. That's why not everyone does a bodybuilding prep. That's why not everyone looks shredded. It's because it's not easy, otherwise everyone would do it. And I think it's definitely good to go in with the mindset of thinking it's going to be hard, and going in with the mindset thinking it's going to be easy, because it is not easy. The first 6 weeks don't actually give you a real taste of what is to come, and it feels like, smooth sailing until you hit 8 weeks out, or for me it was 8 weeks out, and it just goes crash. Energy down, performance down, motivation, drive down, sex drive down, testosterone down, Definitely I'm glad I went in with the mindset that it won't be easy, and I understood that. I watch a lot of people on YouTube and try to gather as much info as I can as to what I thought it would be like for me. And I feel like I created a pretty good representation in my head. And obviously that meant that, the long cardio sessions after the gym, I knew they were going to be hard, and they were hard. It's kind of like matching expectation. But at the same time, don't make it hard. Definitely just making sure that you understand that it's going to be a hard process, but it's being able to find the good things in it and the bad things, and know that the bad days are actually the ones that shape you. No, speaking was actually hard, bro. Alright, so the third point is going to be realising, this is a choice. You're not being forced to do this. And yes, obviously, you can go on rants, you can complain a bit, but don't get caught up on just complaining. You are not, no one is forcing you to do this. This is a choice, it's a lifestyle, and at the end of the day, you can always just not do it. That's why understanding, the whole world doesn't evolve around you. It doesn't just stop because you're in a bodybuilding prep. You still have to go to work, you still have to do these things. And at the end of the day, it's an extracurricular thing. Obviously, in your head, it won't be. Don't get in this hole of just complaining, when realistically, you chose to do this, And yes, you can rant, you can, complain every now and then, talk to people about it. But at the end of the day, you made the decision to go into a prep, and I feel like beforehand, you kind of need to have that conversation with yourself, just you know what, this is going to be hard. I'm going to every now and then complain about it, but I'm going to enjoy the process. I know it's going to be challenging mentally and physically. So yeah, you just need to go in with the mindset of, it's going to take me closer to my goal. Yes, it's going to be hard, but at the end of the day, you are achieving something greater. Alright, so this is point number 4, and this is kind of what I said earlier. Basically, there's going to be good and bad days. It's kind of how you navigate the bad days, which determines how, you're going to look on stage, how prep is going to be, how you're going to remember prep, because each day comes and goes. Some days are bad, some days are good. The thing that helps me is just ticking off the boxes. That's why having a coach, I think, is very important, because sometimes, you can get very emotionally attached to certain things like the weights you're moving in the gym, right? Some days, you'll wake up, oh, I can't be asked to go on a morning walk to get my steps in. But, you know, all you've got to do is just tick off the to-do list for the day, and that's it, you know? But that's the thing, having a coach, they'll tell you what to do, and on those bad days, you literally just do those things. You don't have to emotionally, you know, attach yourself to the task, just do them. That's the way I think of it. So for me, when I wake up, have a bad day, I don't want to walk, just go on a walk, get out. Don't think about it, just go. Don't want to go to the gym, just go and do it. Like, it's on my to-do list, so I'll just tick it off, and that's it. All right, so the fifth and final thing that I've come across is managing fatigue. Now, this is a very, very touchy subject because I know a lot of people be like, managing fatigue, that's such a facade, like that's not an actual thing you need to manage. But bro, in a bodybuilding prep, yes it is, 100% it is. Obviously, normal dieting, you know, just typical lifestyle, people that go to the gym, yeah, you probably, you know, don't need to think about that. But in prep, you definitely do. Obviously, me being a teen, lower food, more expenditure, and just, you know, energy being down, you need to manage fatigue. So that means making sure that you're not doing anything stupidly crazy before you go to the gym. Conserving that energy. For example, if you're really seeing a dip in performance, your scale weight's not moving down, but you're eating less, like you're ticking all the boxes, but you know, you're just not seeing results. Then your body's just becoming non-responsive, and basically you need to take a deload, which is what I'm doing for the next 4 days, because you know, I've hit a wall where I'm just depleted to fuck mentally and physically, and it will do me way better if we have a tiny little push up, bit of a refeed, put some food in, so we can, you know, dig further and get to that stage condition. Because if I was just go like that, you know, the look would fade, I would fade, I just mentally would just hate the process. So I feel like prep is a lot of this, and then refeed, dig, refeed, because if you just go like that, like I said, it just wouldn't be sustainable. And I feel like you're definitely gonna bring a better look if you give those little top ups along the way. Not just physically, but mentally as well. It gives you a bit of a break. And also another thing to add about managing fatigue is removing the set extenders. And what I mean by that is removing the partial reps, removing, you know, the drop sets. At the end of the day, they drive more fatigue than actual, you know, muscle stimulus. So I feel like you would definitely be better off, you know, doing one set that's really good, and you know, you don't do partials, you just stop at failure. Because in the second set, you're gonna go in with more energy, and you're gonna, you know, have a better stimulus to the muscle, therefore obviously retaining it more. Whereas if you go in, absolutely destroy your body, do drop set after drop set, you know, like partial after partial, the sets over time, the quality sets are just gonna be gone. Like there's gonna be no quality. Therefore, you know, you're gonna see a decrease in performance, and also your look is going to fade, and you'll probably lose muscle tissue, because without realizing it, you're actually driving more fatigue than actually like breaking down the muscle. So yeah, I think that's everything I've covered. Obviously, like I said, I'm currently 4.5 weeks out. I'm going to keep the videos absolutely smashed out for you boys. I've been really enjoying the process so far. Yes, it's hard, but I'm, you know, taking each day, ticking the boxes, and that's the main thing really. And I'm just trying to document and help as many people out as I can that are kind of, you know, not going through the same thing as me, but like, you know, doing the same thing, have the same goals, similar age to me, stuff like that. So yeah, hope you boys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.